So the day has finally come. Rise of the Shield Hero is now here on the global version of Grand Summoners. And with it came, of course, every new unit from the crossover, plus all the equips and all that good stuff. We've already covered all of that stuff in previous videos, so if you haven't seen those yet, those will be at the end of this video on the end screen, and possibly also in the description if I remember. But today is the day that you ask yourself, should you summon on this banner? And I'm going to try to help you out, try to see if I could maybe give you some insight whether or not or to summon on this banner. Now, of course, let me just say this before I even start the video. If you are a fan of Rise of the Shield Hero, then go on ahead and go crazy on the banner. Don't give a fuck what anybody else says, if they're good, they're bad, whatever. If you are a fan of them, go on ahead and summon, because that will be how you enjoy the game the most, is by playing with those characters. Now, with that out of the way, let's actually talk about if it's worth the banner. Now, I have covered all these units in a previous video, like I said, so I won't be going in detail about what all of them do, but if you want to see a more in-depth look at them, then of course, like I said, link in the description and link at the end of the video on the end screen. So who's all on this banner? Of course, we have Raccoon Girl, Earth Loli, Water Loli, the Boy Roy, Awoken Mira, Finn, the homie. I fuck with you, bro. On God, bro. I fuck with you. I fuck with you, Finn. I fuck with you. Zeorg, Malia, the God, Rags, and then finally Celia. So let's talk about the crossover units first and kind of give you an idea of what I think about them. Now, the crossover units themselves, Raccoon Girl is actually a really good DPS, I want to say. If you need a DPS for your team, I don't think she's a bad option. She will definitely help you out. Earth Loli, I feel like, is the all-out attacker if you do want an attacker. She's going to be doing a ton of damage with her true art. Just you got to make sure you give her some type of crit chance, so probably run her with the Holy Trinity if you have it. Next is the Water Loli. Water Loli, unfortunately, got kind of messed up with the way how they did the arch and everything, but I will say that if you're just starting out in the game, I would highly recommend that you probably do try to get her, because she is an art gener, she is a supporter, and she will help you in the beginning of the game. Now, of course, for someone like me or for veteran players who have, you know, a ton of art gen, a ton of units in the game, this unit isn't going to benefit us a lot, because we have units that are pretty much stronger than Melty but won't stack art gen with Melty due to her art gen type being type B. So that means that you can't run her alongside someone like Rosetta, Norn, Dark Celia, units like that. You won't be able to run Melty alongside of them. But even with that being said, she has a really strong true art that is a very, very strong damage buff. She also has a really nice normal art that's increasing everybody's attack by 40%. So overall, she's not a bad unit. It's just that they kind of screwed up on that. But if you are starting out in the game, this is a really good unit to get as one of your starting units. As for the others, Roy, unfortunately, is kind of just a mediocre unit and is the meme unit. However, there is very cool team comps involving him, which is like a perma-freeze comp for some bosses, and it's pretty fun. Awoken Mira, unfortunately, is completely outclassed by pretty much every other fire attacker nowadays, but I really hope that she does get some buffs in the future to give her, you know, more oomph. Awoken Finn, still the boy, one of the best units in this entire game, lads. He is amazing. He is god tier, and if you wind up getting him, then hey, good job. If you're a complete new player, you will be able to get this guy from the unit choice ticket, so don't stress over it. If you can't get him from the banner, you can always just pick him from the unit choice. Zeorg is the next one. Zeorg, unfortunately, is not that great. I really wish this guy was good, but Awoken Zeorg is just not what he used to be. Whenever he first came out, he was a pretty decent attacker, but now he's just not really able to compete with anybody. However, the high chance of feigning an enemy on the true art is pretty nice for some bosses. Awoken Malia is kind of power crept, but she's also really good still for magic teams. Anybody that does a lot of magic damage, or if you're using a team that's majority magic damage, you could throw Awoken Malia on there, and she's going to increase everybody's damage by 50%. That's magic damage dealers. And it's overall going to be a fun time. You're going to increase your damage by a lot, and you're going to do some big deeps. Rags is still really strong. Unfortunately, from what most people say, I know a lot of people are like, oh man, Rags is trash. Rags is this, Rags is that. Don't hate on my boy. Alright, I'm telling you, I'll come after you. And you don't want me to do that, alright? I'm being serious. Awoken Rags is still really good. It's just that what he's used for isn't really practical in a lot of boss fights anymore, because how the bosses are kind of constructed nowadays. Which, what Rags is doing is that he is a pure nuker. He is probably one of the best pure nukers in the entire game due to how his kit works. The lower HP he has, the more damage he deals. He has a high chance of feint. He has a really good multiplier on his true art, and he has really good slots for nuking. So he is an absolute nuker. If you are getting into the game and you're looking into maybe nuking some stuff, then Rags is definitely worth a pickup if you're able to summon him. Don't go crazy for him though, but he is a good nuker if you do want to buff up your nuking team. Next is Awoken Celia. Unfortunately, Awoken Celia isn't as good as she used to be. Really, the problem is that unfortunately Gerald and Thetis and units like that exist. And even now, Shield Boy's in the game, which technically I would say would be stronger than Celia in my opinion. Celia isn't that good of a taunt tank anymore. However, she is still decent if you do wind up getting her, but I wouldn't really invest too heavy into her. So overall, what do I think of this banner? If you're just starting out in the game, I think this banner is a very, very good banner. A lot of the units will help you, like for example, Raccoon Girl is a really strong attacker that would definitely help you out. Next is Earth Loli. Earth Loli, an absolute strong attacker. However, you're not going to be able to make the most out of her more than likely unless you have Holy Trinity, but still she will help you out a ton by dealing some decent damage with that amazing True Art. Water Loli is still not that great, but if you're starting out and you don't have all these units, then who cares about the typing of Archgens, because you'll be able to stack with pretty much the main Archgen in the entire game, which you're going to be getting more than likely with the unit choice ticket, which is of course Finn. Now, Melty can stack with Finn because they're a different Archgen type. Melty's a type B, Finn's a type A. So because of that, they can stack together, and you really don't need to worry about this. The only time you really need to worry about Melty's typing with the Archgen is like if you're using Rosetta, Dark Celia, Norn, stuff like that. As for the other units on the banner, they're definitely decent. Like I said, main pointers is definitely Finn, Rags, Malia. So if you're a new player, definitely recommend summoning on it. It will help you out a ton to get your account very, very strong. If you're an intermediate or veteran player though, and you have most of these units, then it really comes down to if you want the Rise of the Shield Hero units. If you do want them, then of course go crazy and try to get them. However, I would say don't go too crazy, because remember, this is a crossover, and if you're free to play, you wouldn't want to spend all your free to play gems. The reason for that is because more than likely they will reset the crossover about a month in. They'll probably reset the crossover so we can get another guaranteed 5-star from the banner, so you don't have to go all crazy. Another thing is that I want to mention too is that if you're planning on going wild on it, I would say maybe wait for the next banner to come out before you go stupid on this banner. The reason for that is because the next banner is possibly Shuri, and if that's the case, you may not want to go too stupid. Remember, this banner is here for pretty much here for a little over 2 months, so you don't have to summon right now. I would say maybe hold off and see what the next banner is. If you don't really like the next banner, you don't really care about Shuri, then go crazy on this. So that is what I think of the Rise of the Shield Hero summons. Definitely summon if you're a new player. Intermediate veteran players, you guys know, if you're a Rise of the Shield Hero fan, go stupid. But if you aren't, then maybe wait and see what the next banner is, and depending on what the next banner is, then you summon on this one. But guys, thank you all for coming out. It's been your boy OP. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe for more Grand Summons content on the channel. Like I said, the video should be popping up on screen right now that covers the units more in depth and also covers the equipment more in depth, so you can click on those and watch those right now. Thank you all for coming out though. It's been your boy OP, and last but not least, you guys already know, man, you guys already know, don't forget to drink water.